Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another Dumpster Talk podcast. Here we are, Todd and I, Sod Metal Recycling, another beautiful Monday morning. I feel like it just keeps, the Mondays keep coming. It's like, just like this.
Yep.
We're back in the dumpster. So today, I have a very special guest with us, Salena Coachman.
Hi.
Thanks
with
for coming.
Armstrong World Industries. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for allowing me to be here with you guys.
Of course. Thank you for taking the time to come out.
Yeah.
We were just talking about see you at a lot of events at Armstrong. Keep things rolling over there. And this is not your first podcast, so
No,
Yeah,
I have a little bit of familiarity with chatting a bit. So
yeah,
Perfect.
that's awesome. Well, we're really grateful to have you on.
Thanks.
You want to maybe start with just a little background on yourself and what brings you here today?
yeah, so I am Salena Coachman. I work at Armstrong World Industries, like you mentioned. My role there is kind of fun because I started there as a talent sustainability vice president, and now I have talent acquisition and talent development. So I sort of think of it as I'm the people person at Armstrong because it incorporates a lot of community work as well. So that's why you see me a lot in the Lancaster County events and all type of other community events. I am from Beaumont, Texas. That's where I grew up proudly. And I was at University of Houston and planning to finish an education degree and decided I just couldn't adult yet. You know, sometimes I think at 20 or so, you go through that. You're like, yeah. And now I kind of look back and it's like probably a fear of actually living as a grown up, you know. And I told my parents I'd be a flight attendant for 6 months. I was like, just, 6 months and then I'm going to hang that up and I'll go and teach or do something more productive, right? And 6 months turned into 23 years that I was in aviation. So I spent most of my career growing in aviation. Of course, I didn't remain a flight attendant. I went into flight attendant training and then crew resource management training with both pilots and flight attendants. And that led me into corporate training. And then I went into airline operations. So the person that, let's say, for instance, you have something going on and you're waiting for your flight and everybody's like, oh, it's delayed, da, da, da. Then the person comes from the basement and whispers something to the gate agent and everything is like, okay, now you can leave. That was me. I'm the person that lived in the basement, the ops manager that kind of knew all the chaotic things that were happening behind the scenes. And then we made magic happen for the passengers to leave. So I did that for a number of years until an HR person came to my station. At the time, I was in Dallas. And she said, I think you need to be in HR. And I was like, well, that sounds boring, right? Because, in operations, it's moving every day. It's fun. You get to work with the pilots, the maintenance people, the people that move the gate, everything, right? The flight attendants. And I was like, all of that would change, right? I would be a corporate person. And that just didn't sound like me. But I enjoyed her and meeting her. And I was like, I think I need to work with this person and grow with this person. And that led me into HR. It was basically one of those roles where they say, and she literally said this to me. She's like, I don't have a place for you right now, but I think you need to grow in HR. And if you come to our corporate office, then we'll find a spot for you. So I took a leap. And that's how I sort of made a pivot in my career and got some certifications and things to go along with that. And here I am. So I guess we'll talk more about how that landed me at Armstrong, right?
Yeah, of course. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What was your kind of favorite part about working as a flight attendant? We've been flying mostly only through work, but
Yeah.
I always thought of that as a cool job because you kind of get to hit different cities in kind of one day, I think.
Yeah, it is. It is. And that part I think appeals to most people, right? That you get to see more places than most in one day. I mean, I remember, and I worked for a regional airline, so you really get to see a lot of places in a day. You may be in 4 or 5 different cities because it takes 45, 50 minutes to get hop to hop oftentimes. I think the most fun part is probably what I think is fun about life now is meeting so many people. I mean, you meet everybody. I mean, from movie stars to your person that's going, unfortunately, to bury a family member. So, and everything in between. So there's the variety of who's actually on that plane. I think I would start every day like, who would I meet? I remember an FAA inspector, Michael Yankee is his name. He's an awesome guy. But I remember him saying to me when I was teaching training once, he said, you want to train flight attendants to think about this. Whatever's going on the minute before they get on that aircraft, they almost have to put it on pause, because once they are on the plane, it's about those people and their safety. And how do you get them off the quickest possible? So constantly, as a flight attendant, unfortunately, they don't get to think constantly about who's meeting and who wants a Coke and all that stuff. They're thinking, bend over, heads down, release your seatbelts, get out, leave everything. They're
Yep.
thinking, how do I get these people off if something happens?
Yeah. No, that sounds like a stressful but awesome job at
Yeah,
the same
yeah,
time.
it was. It was. And I think training people and having them think in that mindset all the time versus the fun of it. I'm like, I want you to have fun, but I want you to consciously always think about the people and and getting them off, because you got to get off last.
Yeah.
And
That's
you
what it's
want to
all
get
about.
off. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
For some of the people in the audience listening to this, what, if they don't know, what is Armstrong Industries?
Yeah, so Armstrong World Industries is a ceilings and wall solutions company. We do not sell flooring. That split between the companies happened in 2016. When I say ceilings and wall solutions, it kind of also includes a lot of adjacencies too. So now you'll see a lot of different acoustical designs. We have a lot of architectural specialty firms that fall under the Armstrong label also now. So as well as what you see as your pop and drop ceilings that are in your schools and hospitals and everything else.
Perfect. What could you kind of walk us through your, I know you shared a little bit of it, but your current roles and kind of what you focus on daily at Armstrong?
So I focus, I'm sorry,
Do you want to ask too before how you kind of got that? I guess.
how I got to.
Yeah. So you said, sorry, not to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Just the woman came to you and
Yeah.
said you should make like a shift to HR. Was she representing Armstrong, or was she at? from,
No,
like, a
she was
different-
at my current company at that time.
okay.
She was at ExpressJet Airlines, and she was the what we call the CHRO, the Chief Human Resource Officer. And she wanted me to come and work on her team versus the operations team that I was on at the time. So
Gotcha.
that pivoted me from operations to human resources.
Yeah, still with the airline. Still at the airline.
Still at the
though.
airline, right?
Gotcha.
So that position led to my role, which was director of employee relations and engagement and culture at that particular airline. So during COVID, during 2020, most of the regional space was taken by the major airlines because they couldn't fly overseas, if you all remember. So that pushed some of the larger regional airlines, such as mine, out of the market. So I had to do what we call a reduction in force of 2,300 people that I cared for dearly, because mind you, 2,800, excuse me, because mind you, I was there for 23 years. So a lot of the people, whether it was the maintenance technicians or operations or flight attendants or pilots, I knew a lot of them very well. So having to give letters saying we are closing basically was heartbreaking. And, you know, sometimes you don't realize it when you're going through it, especially when you're working in the role of having to issue those letters and make sure you're closing down the airline. So making a very, very, very long story short, that meant at the end of all of that, I had to find a job too. So there was a position at another airline that was very similar to mine that I was interviewing for. And someone reached out to me through social and said, hey, I know you're looking for a job. I heard of this position. I'm not sure if you're interested. I found through LinkedIn who the hiring manager was. I said, I've never heard of an Armstrong World Industries. But of course, I wasn't in manufacturing at the time. I was in aviation, right? So I reached out to the hiring manager and said, I hear you're looking for this role. Sounds very much like what I'm doing currently. We had a conversation. She said, I'm not posting it yet, but when I post it, I'll let you know. When it was posted, I applied, and I ended up being one of the three candidates. So what led me to Armstrong during that interview process was the people I was able to meet, right? So the people that I interviewed with, we typically have 4 to 5 people that you'll have a different conversation with at Armstrong, depending on the role. And fortunately for this role, I was able to meet with the executive leadership team as well as the HR persons that would have been my counterparts at the time. And I just enjoyed everybody, you know, much more than the other role at the airline, which was basically going to be a shoe-in because that's what I was doing. And they were looking for someone in my space, but I was enjoying the people I was meeting. So I ended up being their top candidate. And then I said, well, okay, now I need to figure out where Lancaster, Pennsylvania is and find me somewhere to live. You know, of course, we were in COVID, so that meant I was still in Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta at the time. And I was remaining there for about 6 months. So I worked remote and I was looking for a place at the time. Yeah.
Awesome. What was your first what was your perspective when you first kind of got to Lancaster? Because I'm sure it's a lot different than Texas.
Well, it's like, I came from the Houston area, as I mentioned, moved to Chicago after that for almost 4 years. From Chicago, I lived in Dallas. From Dallas, I lived in Atlanta. And then from Atlanta, I moved here. So I say all that to say one thing that I have learned with movement is that I'm the common denominator. I'm the one I bring to the table wherever I go, right? So how I show up matters. How I show up in community, how I show up in my work, how I show up for me, how I show up in, my church, everything, right? That matters to me. And I think it makes a person a little bit more approachable.
Yeah.
When you take accountability for who you are and what you bring versus, man, no one's my friend, no one's doing this, no one's doing that. It's like, well, what are you doing? So I take it on myself to reach out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's great advice for kind of anyone.
Yeah.
So I do love living here in Lancaster County, and I think a big piece
It's a
of
great
that
place.
is and I think a big piece of that is I was able to find my people real fast. It's like you seek it out and you pretty much find it.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome that we're glad you're were able to make your way up here. That's
Thank
awesome.
you. I'm glad too.
It's interesting because we grew up here in Columbia our whole life.
Yeah.
So hearing people's perspectives of kind of living kind of all over the country is awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. But I also say coming from small town and ending up in a very similar sized town. It's very interesting, how life circles around, right? Being that I've lived in a lot of major cities, so I'm enjoying it. I love living here, and I love being part of the community. Yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome to
sorry
hear.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to see how you kind of got to Armstrong. So sorry to cut you off.
No, that's all good. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
What is your day-to-day kind of look like now at Armstrong?
Yeah, so I manage, like I mentioned, our talent acquisition, which is recruiting, and we have a wonderful manager that actually charged that on my team, Kathy Martin, as well as our learning development is led by Robert Fleming. So I have great people that work with me. So I often say that takes a load off your plate when you have smarter people than you working on your team. So it frees me to, one, help them be their best selves and support them and their teams, but also be a part of the other piece of the work, which is our community work, our sustainability work as far as people and making sure that we are making pathways for our employees and for our community in regards to the workforce, because there's a part of sustainability that lies with people sustainability. And at Armstrong, I have the pleasure of serving as a lead for that, as well as our philanthropic work. So I am president and on the board for our AWI Foundation. So we do a lot of community work from a grant providing aspect also.
That's awesome. What has kind of been the hardest transition kind of from your prior career to this one? Because I know it's kind of a similar role, but just different industries.
Yeah. So it's funny because I think of it this way. It's very similar because I always was looking up when it came to my work. I was looking up at
yeah.
airplanes, right? Now I'm looking up at ceilings.
Ceilings.
Yeah.
Funny
So
way to put it.
so it's like I'm still looking up. I'm just looking up inside the building versus outside. Yeah.
For sure. No, that's funny.
So that's kind of how I look at it. And I really never thought about how beautiful a lot of architectural work can be when it comes to thinking about the ceiling and the walls, right? And when you think about now how a lot of airports are being remodeled and hospitals and museums even, right? If you look at our library here in Lancaster, or if you look at the new Thaddeus Stephen and Lydia Hamilton space, all of that is Armstrong Works. I mean, it's beautiful, and it expands beyond the ceiling. It's just lovely all around you. So.
Yeah, it has to be satisfying to kind of see a project come to fruition and see the final product of it.
It really is, especially when you know the teams that put it together, right? Not just our internal Armstrong teams, but the teams in regards to these nonprofits. They work so hard in making sure that the work is done in the community, and to say that we're a part of that, I'm just always so proud.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Sure.
Yeah.
Would you say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I would think that you're a very people person.
Yeah,
Just
maybe.
talking to you today, and you explaining kind of your role and HR and everything. Do you have any advice of kind of, or what is your thoughts like? Earlier in your career, you were kind of more in like a task-driven role, I guess, with the operations and stuff. Um, do you think? I guess two questions.
Yeah.
When you were growing up, which one did you see yourself kind of going into? And then do you kind of wish you made the switch earlier? Or are you glad you kind of got both
Well,
sides of that?
that's a really really good journey to take me on in regards to bringing that, because I think this may be good for a listener. As a younger person, I literally would cry if someone would stand at me and ask me a question or have me talk in front of
Yeah.
people. And I grew up in a Southern Baptist church. My dad was a pastor of a church, and would have me stand up and sing or talk or whatever. And I could easily do that because it was scripted or it was a song and I had to sing it. And oftentimes I did that with my sister, who's just a couple years older than me. So it made me pretend to be brave, but I was so afraid to stand in front of people. I mean, and then when I went through a phase where I just would not do it. And my mother would write me letters for me to write her back just so she'd know what I was thinking because I just got so quiet, right? And then I met a woman that in junior high school that said, you need to start singing. She sings really good, and we need to put her in competitions and all of these things. And likewise, I also was in, I read poetry really well and all that. So I did a lot of theater and a lot of music to kind of get me out of that shell. So after that, I think I kind of became who I am, right? So even working in operations, I was me, right?
Yeah.
But I think the transition piece from working in that type of environment to the HR environment, I was in a high pace, quick. If you work in a plant like we have now for manufacturing, or if you work in operations for an airline or something, everything is hurry up and wait. Hurry up. And I say wait because maybe there's a flaw and we got to check everything out. Then you go again, right? In HR, it's, well, we're going to sit back. We're going to observe. We're going to make a PowerPoint. It's a different world, right? So still bringing my authentic self, I think was important. Now, if I would reflect back and give myself maybe hey, maybe you should get out of your shell at an earlier age, I don't know if I'd change anything, right? Because I think who you're supposed to be is you're meant to go through those things. So I as old people would say, I wouldn't trade nothing for my journey now.
Yeah.
Yeah, got you to where you are today.
Yeah, I can definitely. I feel like I can relate to that. Just like starting. I've been working here for 5 years, like right out
Yeah.
of high school, and as like I started kind of figuring out where I was going to be in the yard, it's definitely easier to just kind of, at least for myself, a lot more comfortable to just kind of work on the tasks in the yard
Yeah.
and not really try to become like that leader or like a voice, I guess. But yeah, I'm kind of trying to do that more now, and it definitely can be challenging.
Well, I tell you what, you have the spirit of the voice. So you have it in you. It comes out very nicely, the both of you. So keep
appreciate
doing
that.
whatever you're doing. Yeah.
Thank you. Can you kind of think back in your career of like an influential mentor or leader that kind of shaped you to who you are or gave you that push kind of when you needed it?
Yeah. Well, the woman that came and got me, her
Yeah.
name is Denise Harville. She definitely was not just, hey, I'm going to pull you out of here and put you in something else. And okay, fly, little bird, fly, Every step of the way, she would mentor me and she would give me the confidence also. She's like, I didn't like come and grab you because you were an experiment. I came and grabbed you because you already had the thing, right? Because when you're working operations, I think oftentimes what you forget and what others forget about people in those roles is you are already all of the things. If someone had an HR question, I was the person. If someone needed to go off and be on FMLA, I was the person. If someone had a conflict, I was the person that would help with the conflict, But then if there was also an operational issue with the airplane or the flight is delayed, I'd have to be that too. So it was more now I had an isolated role versus you're a combination of everything. So she helped me to see that piece and to bring out those better qualities. And she invited me into the rooms that my work needed to be seen. She's like, you're going to present this. I'm not presenting it. It's your work. You present it. So she helped me become a better presenter and to speak up for myself better and to speak in front of leadership. So
Yeah.
I will forever be grateful to her for that.
It's really important, especially early in your career, to kind of have those people Dan and Michael have been that for us. I've been here a little over 4 years now.
Yeah.
And pretty much everything we're doing now, we probably wouldn't have been doing. They kind of pushed us
Yeah.
when we really needed it. Sorry. So yeah, they've just been awesome. I feel like a lot of people in my generation, I don't want to speak for my whole generation, but they're kind of push those people away when they're pushing them to do things that they don't want to, like a podcast or speaking in front of people. I've been awful at. But having those people to kind of push you, you kind of need in your life.
You do.
I would say.
Yeah, I would totally agree.
It's sad
Yeah.
when you now being a little older, like I can see like whether it's like a little cousin or someone like making the decision to kind of push that person away. But it's cool to be able to give them advice on like, hey, this person actually really cares about you, and you don't always find those people a lot.
No, you don't.
So you don't
and
want to take them.
You don't
want
want
to
to take them for granted.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely agree.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you have something?
No, you can go.
Did you have like any? Did you want to talk about when the woman did come to you and made the suggestion that you switch kind of into HR? You said you kind of had some hesitancies, like it sounded a little
Yeah.
less fun or whatever. Was there something that you kind of told yourself to lean into that, or?
Yeah, I think there's two things, right? I think, and you all hopefully can relate to this. Every now and then, I think for me, it's every 3 to 5 years, you get an itch. Like, am I supposed to be doing something else? And maybe not leave where you are, but just, is this something else I'm supposed to be doing? And I get that every 3 to 5 years or so, right? And fortunately, I was able to progress at the same company for 23 years getting that. Oftentimes, people shun on millennials and Gen Zs because they leave roles 2 to 3 years, but it's that itch that, hey, I'm supposed to be growing. So hopefully you are able to grow where you are versus having to leave and put your talent somewhere else. So with all that said, I was getting that itch anyway, right? Of, oh, something's happening here. But her saying, but I don't have a role, we'll figure it out. That was unattractive because you're like, well, what if this doesn't work out, right? I'm building my work for a reason here, not for someone to tell me I don't know what's going to happen. So I had to step out on faith and say, hey, this is going to work out some way, somehow. And this is how the world or how my path is shaping me to move next. So I did have to just kind of bounce out of that fear and say, this is what's next.
Yeah. How important is that faith part? Because
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people kind of lose faith and kind of say it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I truly believe everything kind of happens for a reason.
Oh, for sure.
But you never see it in the moment.
Yeah.
Like if you look back on something that happened 2 or 3 years ago,
Yeah.
it all happened for a reason.
It all happened for a reason. I call it my faith. Some people say intuition, fate, the planet, whatever. But
Yep.
I call it faith, and I think it's the only thing that guides me. I
Yeah.
think that is it is my North Star, so to speak, to
Yep.
say, let me make the right moves. Let me think of people. Let me think of my family. Let me think of the next move I make so that this can be a best move for everybody involved, right?
Yeah.
So faith is most important to me.
Yeah, looking back in kind of like the early part of my career, it could be a bad thing when you kind of lose that faith. So kind of keeping that, even when it's hard,
Yeah.
is a big thing.
Yeah, it's
I'm not
huge.
the biggest like religious person, but I definitely do have a faith. So kind of keeping that and not like just saying it is what it is or just giving up.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
kind of huge.
I think sometimes, and like I said, you feel that 3 to 5 year itch, right? It's like that itch is that power that's bigger than you. There's something bigger than you that's saying there's a force moving me towards blank, right? And I believe in following that force.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Dan always he told us the phrase when we first started, be comfortable being uncomfortable.
yes.
Because you kind of get to figure out who you are as a person in that situation. Which I was awful at that when I first started, but I can hear Dan's voice saying it when I think about it. So that's been a huge
And
kind
you
of
get a little less uncomfortable every day,
Yep.
right?
yeah. And you don't have to go like, say you're fierce public speaking, which was mine. That doesn't mean you need to go in front of a stage of 10,000 people and speak.
Right.
You
There's
can
a
kind of
space
work
for
your
you.
way up to it. Maybe speak on a panel, do
Yeah.
dumpster talk or a podcast.
Yes.
So that's kind of where I'm at, working my way up to trying to conquer my fear, I guess.
Well, I'm proud of you.
Oh, well, thank
Yeah.
you. I really appreciate
Yeah.
it. What would you say if you had to pick one specific thing? What would you say is your kind of favorite part of your job that brings you kind of the most fulfillment?
My team. I would say the people I get to work with every day. Most of my team is a lot younger than me, and I like that for two reasons. One, I get to learn from them, right? Selfishly, but two, I get to support them and watch their careers grow. So I think of the people that mentored me and helped me, and now being able to shape and put people in the right spaces for them to grow and be seen. I think it's important for me to do that. So I think that might be my most favorite thing. Yeah.
Awesome.
And then just to piggyback off that, like with leading a team, what's like do you have maybe one thing that kind of you notice works a lot with leading people and one that doesn't work so well, or any advice there?
What works a lot is being honest and authentic and removing any traditional hierarchy that may go in the space of having a team, right? Saying my employees versus team. You know, how you think of it in your mind is often how you portray it with your team. But, you know, a lot of people may say my employees or you know,
My workers.
my workers,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, that's so not right. It's like we're all humans, right?
Yeah.
So how I think of them, hopefully, is how they think of me.
Yeah. And I think that as an employee, that goes a long way. Like ever since we started, Dan, like say we'd be next to him at a networking event and someone might say, "Hey, are these your workers or employees?" He's like, "No,
My
this is
team
like my
members.
team."
Yeah.
Or I get to work with these guys.
Yes, yeah,
And
my
saying they work
counterparts
for
are-
me. Like I've never heard Dan or Michael say these guys work for me.
Right.
Like a lot of times people might not even think like they're the owner of the company or like the bosses around here because they always say like, these aren't our employees, they're our team,
Yes.
work with us.
Yes.
But that goes huge just for like your employees, like kind of mental space. You don't feel like a number.
Right.
And like, for instance, Dan we try, our goal right now is to get Dan out of the yard. But it's still kind of hard because
I bet it is.
he just has it in him to want to help.
Yeah.
Because obviously we get busy.
Yeah.
So he always just has that kind of helping mindset.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Which is huge from an owner. Like one of my first jobs, I always tell people is I cleaned out underneath the baler, which is a very dirty job.
Yeah.
And he was right next to me. And then he had to go to an event right after.
He's like, I'm just gonna make it work.
Yep, just
Yeah.
those little things. And he usually takes that time to like talk to us and kind of see what's going on in our
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
I feel like a lot of the times when people go to work, they kind of keep the more important stuff kind of quiet.
Yeah.
But the more open you are, I found
I
is so
agree.
much better for the culture.
And you know what? I heard one of my fitness instructors say this, and I think I carry it in life. When she said it, I said, that's kind of how I live. She said, celebrate everything and get back to work. You know, and I think we do that, right? We are birthday celebrating, anniversary celebrating. I got the most closures celebrating team, right? And it feels good to celebrate someone. And so when you feel good doing it, you know they feel twice as good getting it, right? And we get back to work and you end up having a very effective team because people are happy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Say there's a listener in here kind of wanting to work for Armstrong. Do you have anything that you would say to kind of like the next generation coming up looking to work for great companies like yourself?
Well, we do believe we're a great company. So thank you for saying that.
Of course. I think everyone in Lancaster knows
Yeah.
that Armstrong is like
Yeah, I
an
think
amazing
what's
company.
amazing about Armstrong is the ability to reinvent over and over. Talk about sustainability, right? Taking a product and being able to say what's going to be tomorrow, what's going to be more innovative. And we have the most amazing engineers and scientists, I mean, amongst our finance and HR and all those other roles, and people that work on the production floor. I mean, it's just the most amazing team of people. And if you want to work around good people, I think Armstrong is the place to apply. I mean, two things that we're proud of course, being part of talent acquisition. I have to brag a little bit. If someone was to go on LinkedIn, we have a really, really good life page on our LinkedIn. And take a look at that. You'll see some of the things that are happening in Armstrong. Our Armstrong website also has our career page. And you'll see just what's happening and how people feel about working at Armstrong. So I think that's nice takeaways for someone that's looking for a role. And on that careers page, of course, they can see what we have open.
Yeah, awesome. We'll have the link to your website at the bottom
Awesome.
of the description as well, so
Awesome.
people can check that out.
Thank you.
Do you have anything?
Yeah, well, I guess just kind of to get to know you a little more.
Yeah.
Is there anything? What's kind of your hobbies? What kind of drives you outside of work?
Yeah.
Aside from Armstrong.
Yeah. So quite a few things. I'm a hobbyist, so to speak. So
Yeah.
it's hard to say I got like one little thing, but I'm a Peloton person. So I have the bike, the rower, the treadmill, the guide. So I lift weights every day. I work out every single day of my life in some way. I make sure that this body moves some way. I was crazy or smart, can't figure out which one yet, this past March, and I have a blue cane corso. So
wow.
and he's 9 months on September 7th, and he's just at 100 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
He is not fully grown until he's 18 months. So as you can tell, I'm going to have a giant on my hands, and he is the most amazing baby boy. So my life is full of family, friends, and Samson is what I say now. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Great. We had
We're big dog people.
Oh, good. Man, if I'd known, I'd brought him.
Oh, you could have.
we had an old truck driver who had a cane corso here. His name was Zeus.
Yes. Zeus is a popular name for cane
I
corsos.
believe it,
Yeah.
Dogs are just the best.
They are.
We have 2 pit bulls, which pit bulls kind of have a stick behind it, or
Oh.
however you say it, that they're very mean.
Oh, they're the best dogs
my
ever.
Lord,
I know.
It's
And
all
they're
about where
goofy,
they come
too.
from.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord, they're crazy.
Yeah, that's Samson. He's very well trained, and his trainer actually said you need to consider probably making sure he's psychologically certified because he's very in tuned, and I could probably take him into hospitals to visit people.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, so just really, really good dog.
Yeah. What do you think's your favorite? This is kind of a side question, but what's your favorite part of kind of having a dog? I've always had dogs.
Yeah, me too. I think that unconditional love,
Yep.
as everybody knows, is just they're gonna love you no matter what. I mean, 3:45 in the morning, he's whining at my bedside. Not so much because he needs to go out; he just wants some attention. So I give him like 2 seconds of petting, and I say, "Baby, we're not going out yet," and he lays back down and goes back to sleep. Right? You can't get that out of a human.
Yeah,
you
no,
know.
I still live at my parents'. We have 2 pit bulls, Madison and Bryant. And Bryant, she's our youngest, and she's the first dog I've ever met that, like, when I walk in the front door, she'll go get a toy
Yes.
and bring it to you, and she just goes, like, insane, and it's the best feeling.
Yes.
Like, you can have the worst day. Once you
Yes.
go in the house, they have
That's
no
so
clue you
true.
had a bad day.
Yeah, Samson, I'm
At
telling
all.
you, he will stand by me. I could be doing anything. I'm busy, right? And he will pick up and drop a ball at least for 10 minutes.
Yep.
Like, hello, are we going to play?
Yep.
You know, he'll pick it up, he'll drop it again. He'll pick it up, he'll drop it again. Like, I know you hear me dropping this ball.
Yeah, my mom, she started working from home now, every 5 days a week. So it's like,
Oh, yeah.
she's
It's paradise
babysitting.
for him. Yes.
Yeah, it's like she's babysitting like a grandkid or something.
Yes.
Especially when they're young, they go crazy.
Yes, indeed.
So that's awesome. You're a dog person.
Yeah, big dog person.
What before like our finale question? What do you think the importance of building your online presence? Like we're big on LinkedIn. What do you think kind of the importance of that, especially from like a younger person's perspective, trying to get a job?
Yeah.
We didn't finish college, but we have a lot of friends who are finishing this year, and I tell them all to get on LinkedIn because
Yeah.
if you want a job, it's like your online
Yeah.
resume.
I say if you finished college or not, right? If you want that online resume to exist, put it out there, right? A pro tip, of course, from someone with a recruiting background, your experience matters so much right now. Right now, of course, the workforce is not as strong as it has been in the past, and we are looking for skilled workers out there. So whether that means for a degreed position or not, we're looking for skilled workers. So I guess the number one tip I tell people is to make sure you have a professional picture on your LinkedIn and that your LinkedIn is used for professional writing. You don't put the same post on LinkedIn that you'd put on your Instagram,
Yeah.
right? It's like that's 2 different worlds, and it has to be thought of as 2 different worlds. And then that profile needs to be worked out, right? All of your skills and abilities, education also has to be placed on there because some companies actually look at your LinkedIn as your resume, right? So whatever you have on that resume, put it on your LinkedIn. You know, have no shame in it. As you build more skills, put them on that LinkedIn profile. Don't forget to do it.
Yeah, I always tell young people that like if you have time to go on Instagram, like you can check on your phone the hours you spend on certain apps. If you can be on TikTok for 5 hours a day,
Surely
you can do 15 minutes of LinkedIn a day.
exactly, exactly.
Dan pays us to do 15 minutes of LinkedIn every single day.
Yeah, I mean, it's so smart, right? I mean, even your community contact, right? If you go to and speak to at a thing, or if you
Yep.
go and attend a thing in the community, put it on your LinkedIn because it shows that you are working not just in your circle because you're getting a check for it,
Yep.
but you're also putting your time out there because you care about other things.
Yeah, and it's free marketing. In the past, you would have to pay a lot of money for advertisements and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But now, like Dan really pushes us to just be on LinkedIn because even if we would leave here one day,
That's right.
it just helps you out. It's free marketing
It's
for the company.
and it's there forever.
Yep,
Yeah.
it doesn't go away. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have any kind of close up questions for us, or before we end it? We
Sorry
have.
for the noise.
No,
our
I like
shaker
it. It
shear
keeps
is
it,
a little
it
loud.
keeps it fun. Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Let you know we're still in a scrapyard.
Yeah. So
Oh.
you've been here for 5 years.
Yeah, yeah.
And you've been here for 7, I think you said.
A little over 4 years.
little over-
I did
oh, a little
9
less.
months of. We started at the same time, kind of. But I did 9 months of Thaddeus,
Okay. Yeah.
and I just missed working, so I just
Yeah.
came back here.
Nice. Very
yeah.
nice. Yeah. And outside of working here, do you both live in Columbia?
Yep.
Yep. Very nice.
Yep. He
And-
lives about 2 minutes that way. I live 2 minutes that way. I live
What?
with my fiance and my parents. Still.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah, we were both born and raised here in Columbia, so
Dan
Good.
messes with us that we're stuck in our 1 mile radius.
Yeah.
So he has us traveling sometimes, a couple times
Good.
a year.
That's
Kind
really
of get
good.
out and get some exposure.
So I'm guessing you enjoy working for Dan.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel
good.
like personally, I don't want to speak for Alex, but when I came here, I needed a kind of a wake up call in a lot of ways. So he was kind of like a nice wake up call. He went about it the right way.
Yeah.
And it also taught us hard work and
Yeah.
you can learn a lot of lessons in the scrapyard for sure.
Yeah, a lot of people in the community call me auntie. I'd have to say that Dan is uncle.
oh, yeah, he's fun, man. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's nice because we're such a small community. Like Dan's father was second generation and he grew up with both sets of my grandparents.
Oh, wow.
So even though I'm not blood related, I feel like family.
Yeah, yeah.
Like my pap just came and cleaned out. He loves cleaning cars.
Yeah.
So he came and cleaned Ron's car last week.
So nice.
So it's nice. Like I walked into work and my pap's here talking to Ron.
Yeah.
So it's just
It's
a really,
family.
it's a really cool
family.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
for
love
sure.
that.
We've gotten to see like when we first started here, it was just kind of how it was set up and the people, like the employees that they had.
Yeah.
We didn't really have any. We never made time for like for social media and marketing and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. So we've gotten to really see like how it's changed the business over
Oh,
the
I
past
bet.
few years. Yeah,
I bet.
It's
Yeah.
literally from when we started to now,
Yeah.
it's changed so much.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Brings different opportunities. Like LinkedIn, for instance, we got asked to do. There's a big conference every year. It's either in Nashville or Vegas every other year, and we got to interview one of the biggest scrap companies in the world out in Vegas, just off of like LinkedIn and posting and making these podcasts.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it's just like the little stuff. There, you don't know the opportunities that
Yeah.
can kind of come from it.
Okay. Now, my bonus question: what can you do with metal that people would not know?
I guess really just get paid for it.
Get paid for it.
Is the biggest thing.
A lot of the stuff people throw out,
Yeah.
like driving to work, even I see metal just out for the trash. And instead of sending it to the landfill, you might not get paid $1,000 for it.
Yeah.
But the more you kind of accumulate,
Yeah.
it's all money at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Crazy.
Yeah,
So I
work-
could bring some metal here.
Yep. Like
Yeah.
microwave, if people are moving, you can
Yeah.
bring microwave, washer, dryer, get paid. I just brought an old washer and dryer. And I think I got paid like $23.
yeah.
And it was just sitting there in your way.
Yeah, just my dad wanted it out of the garage, and it's just $23.
And it's good on both ends because it's keeping it out of the landfill. We're gonna obviously send it somewhere where it's gonna get recycled, reused, and then also give you a little bit of money for it too. So it's a
You'll see
win-win.
me soon. I have something in my garage that's just been sitting there.
Yeah.
You know, one of those Amazon things I can't return.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah, it's interesting when people come in and seeing what they bring in. Like we have some people come in every 3 times a day, That's a unique part of our business. Like
Yeah.
we're allowed to have people in the yard.
Yeah.
So we take peddlers. Some of the metal we don't send to get melted down. We actually resell it. So we have a resellable section. Just to kind of reduce, reuse, and recycle. We try to do all three of the R's. So
Definitely coming back. You'll probably see me tomorrow.
yeah, we have a lot of people with like art, people making art come in the yard, all
Yeah.
different stuff. Students at like
Yeah.
Thaddeus, if they're working on welding or stuff like that, we get all types of different
I love
people.
it. I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I love how you all are able to speak to the brand too. That's very smart.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you. Appreciate it. We got some This is episode 95, by the way.
Nice.
So we have 5 more till 100.
Ah, congratulations.
thank you.
That's a huge milestone.
We appreciate it. I can't believe. I
Yeah.
think the first one I was on was episode 6. So
Wow.
we've done a
Wow.
good bit.
Yes, you have. Yeah.
Thank you.
I
for
love
that.
it. Yeah.
Well, I guess our wrap up question, and it kind of feeds into kind of right when you said in your point of life you graduated college and you went for teaching and you decided to go kind of for that 6 months in the aviation space. It started out as. So what's some advice you would give to someone just starting out in their career?
Yeah. Well, first, I didn't finish college. I was almost ready to finish, and I pivoted. And I have had all my intentions. I'm 51 years old this year of finishing that degree. So I will do it, you know. But my experience, that's why I tell people write those skills down, because my whole life has been about building and building. And I've been given great opportunity to step into some great spaces. So I don't take any of that for granted, but I also do not take for granted that I do come with a lot of skills now. So I know that the job that I am qualified for, I will get it. So one, don't forget that, right? And I've told people this for years. If you feel you are qualified for a position, apply. Have the interview, at least get the experience of the interview and take that with you as learning, right? Because even interviews are learning for your career. Hopefully you'll get the position, but if you don't, don't look at it like, oh man, I didn't get the job. You got the interview. You got seen.
Yep, you got
and
in
they
the door.
remember you. That's right. And if it's a place you want to work, continue to interview with them because they will remember you. So that's one thing. Two, I do encourage people to go ahead and get whatever that career path is for you. If it is a secondary degree at a university, if it's a skill and training certification, whatever it is, get that thing you need for your work and continue with learning. That's another thing I think. I don't know if it's because I was shy of my degree or what, but I became a continuous learner. So anything I can absorb, I always am available to do it. So even if you get your degree or whatever plan that you're on, continue to learn because there's always a space. Right now, I lead AI at AI training at AWI. That's a lot of A's, huh?
Yeah.
And it is teaching me so much, right? And it's making me so available to learn so that I won't be behind as this train is moving in AI.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, that's great advice. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have a part 2 one day.
Yeah.
I know our friend Adriana, she was on our podcast before and now she works for Armstrong.
She
so,
does. Yes.
So that's
yes.
awesome.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, no, I was happy when I saw
She's
that
solid.
she came to work for you guys.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for taking
Thank
the
you.
time to
I
come on.
appreciate it.
Really
Yeah. Thank
appreciate
you for
it.
inviting me. I really am grateful to be here.
Of course,
Yeah.
thank you.
Great talking to you.
You too. Yeah.
We'll catch you guys on the next one.
All right. Bye.